Good evening. The January 20th Westfield Washington School Board of Trustees meeting is now in session. Thank you for joining us this evening. Since we have a quorum, will you please stand for a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. We'll begin with the first item on the agenda, which is the reorganization of the Board of School Trustees. This includes organizational items we need to take care of as we start the new year. One of those items is informational related to the approval of legal counsel. I'm going to ask our superintendent, Dr. John Atha, to walk us through that information.
Thank you, Mr. Still, members of the board. So it's required by law that we reorganize within the first month of the year, every year, as a school board. And one of those items that we like to do at that time is to have the board officially adopt our legal counsel, which has been and will be our recommendation is Church Hill and Antrim. And I think Andrew Manna is here, and so they're our general counsel in all things and supporting us legally in all aspects of the corporation. So our first line, if you will, when we have a question or legal question, they do our policies, they do our ongoing guidance and feedback on legislation, and then any of the day-to-day things. And so we would recommend to the board at this time that we approve Church Hill and Antrim as the Westfield Washington Schools Legal Counsel.
At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the Church Hill Antrim as legal counsel for Westfield Washington Schools as presented.
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. It's moved second. At this time, do we have any discussions? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion is passed.
Thank you. With that, I'm going to introduce Andrew Manna, who will help us with the reorganization of the school board.
Thank you, Dr. Atha, and members of the board, and on behalf of our school attorneys at Church Hill and Antrim, we appreciate the opportunity to work with you again. As you described, every year you have reorganization of the board, meaning an election of officers at this time, and earlier in the month, you came up with a recommendation for a slate of officers as follows: President Rebecca Ogle, Vice President Bill Anderson, and Secretary Carrie Larison. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the nomination of the Board of School Trustees, President, Vice President, and Secretary as presented.
I make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. It has been moved and seconded to approve the nomination of the slate as described. Is there any discussion or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes, and congratulations, board officers, and Madam President, I'll turn it back to you.
So at this time, I do want to thank and acknowledge Mike Still's year as president. So we appreciate that. Mike is in his second term with the Board of Trustees, but I think first time serving as president. And so we appreciate it, Mike. It was a solid year, and we had to navigate some things, but you did it with grace and with leadership, and we appreciate that. So thank you for your service.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Move Marcia Bohannon as corporate treasurer and Kira Nickel as deputy treasurer.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve Marcia Bohannon as corporate treasurer and Kira Nickel as deputy treasurer. Is there any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Next, we will move to another item, which is approving our work meeting and attentive work session dates for January 2026 through December 2026. Each year, the board approves a calendar of regular meetings and work sessions as a proposed calendar. Our regular meetings are scheduled on typically the second Tuesday of each month with a few exceptions, obviously January, April, and July. Work sessions are scheduled prior to each regular board meeting and also the fourth Tuesday of the month, with exceptions in November and December due to school breaks. The work sessions are open to the public, but they can be canceled if not needed, so please keep an eye on the website for those. We'll also occasionally have executive sessions scheduled as needed. Those are not open to the public. But Westfield Washington Schools provides the Times and Hamilton County Reporter with public notices of all these meetings. They can choose to publish that information or not. The meeting dates, though, are also published on the district website and on our board doc site and on the door of the administration building at least 48 hours in advance. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the board meeting and tentative work session dates for 2026 as presented.
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting and tentative work session dates for 2026. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is to approve all the board committee appointments. I believe we're going to show those up on the screen. The board worked together to determine who would serve on each committee at our last work session, and the committee assignments are displayed. They'll also be on our board docs page. And at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve all board committee appointments as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you, Carrie. It's been moved and seconded to approve all board committee appointments as presented. Is there any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Finally, we have the approval of Resolution 2026-1, compensation to the board members. The Resolution 2026-1 outlines specific per diem pay rates as allowed by Indiana school law and rules. Church, Hiddle, and Antrim drafted the resolution that has become part of our annual reorganization meeting. Board members may receive up to a $2,000 per year for their service plus a per diem per Indiana Code 20-26-4-7. Per diem rates for attendance at school board meetings, the maximum rate for 2026 continues to be $150 for regular meetings, which are those meetings established by the board resolution, and $75 for other meetings such as special meetings, executive session, and committee meetings. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2026-1, compensation of board members as presented. Thank you, Amber. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been motioned and seconded to approve Resolution 2026-1, compensation of board members. Is there any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next, we'll move to our final item, which is to affirm the Board of Trustee norms. The board norms were built through consensus to determine the best board practices and service principles that guide the behaviors and board relationships. The norms will be posted on board docs page for anyone interested in reading them. And at this time, I will entertain a motion to affirm the Westfield Washington School Board of Trustee board norms as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Having moved and seconded to affirm the Westfield School Board norms of the school trustees, is there any discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Okay, and now
All right, before we move forward with tonight's agenda, and I know we have all these great-looking students of the month saying, what's going on with this reorganization? But I just need your patience. January is also National School Board Recognition Month. And so I'd like to take just a moment to recognize our school board. You know, serving on a school board is often a quiet behind-the-scenes commitment. It takes a lot of times, but it's also one that's very impactful to not only the school district, but to the public in general. It's a service-minded person. So our board devotes countless hours studying complex issues. We provide them with a lot of written information. We have conversations. There's an old saying in school leadership, when you work with the board, it takes a minimum of 3 months to do anything. The first month is an introduction and you kind of talk about it. The second month is kind of a work session where you can dig into it. And then the third month is where the board may take action in a meeting like this to approve it. So I specifically tonight want to recognize Rebecca Ogle, Bill Anderson, Carrie Larison, Mike Steele, and Amber Willis. Each of you bring your own perspective, experience, and passion to the work of the board, and together you're providing steady leadership and representing our community and making this a wonderful district, not only for our employees, but also our families and our community. So I know the work doesn't always come with easy choices, and sometimes there are difficult things you need to study, but I want you to know that it is clear to us that you have a deep commitment not only to our schools, but to our community. So on behalf of our students, our families, our staff, our amazing city, we want to thank you for your leadership, your integrity, and your dedication to public education. We are stronger in this district and this state because of your service. So I'd ask everyone in the audience to join me in showing our appreciation for our school board. And with that, let's get into the agenda.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So here we are now. This is where the fun begins. It's our favorite part of the meeting. We're going to recognize our students of the month. So just a few quick housekeeping notes. Mr. David Dixon will provide professional photography for our families here in the room for your student and their presenter. And then we'll take a short break after we get through all the students being recognized. You'll be invited to the lobby where the student and all the family members that are here to celebrate them can get a professional photograph by Mr. Dixon, and you can enjoy some refreshments in the lobby at that time. And then we will reconvene for our business portion of the meeting if you want to come back in and join us after that. So now, without further ado, we will start with the Virginia F. Wood Early Learning Center.
Good evening. I'm Marcy Dorado, the director of the Early Learning Center, and I am joined by Rachel Gaspard and Jenny Reynolds, two of the staff members in Judah Hansen's class. I want to tell you a little bit about Judah and to give you a story about the reason why he was chosen. You're going to get it. So Judah is in one of our co-teach classrooms. Our co-teach classrooms have a mixture of children with exceptional needs as well as typical peers. And there are 8 children with exceptional needs, 12 children that are typical peers in the room. And his teachers will tell you that he fits right in with the group. He's compassionate, hardworking, kind, and loving to everybody in the room. But I want to share a story with you about something that Judah did that I think makes him especially special to us. So one of the little boys in his class is in a wheelchair, and sometimes is moved into a strider, which is a device that helps children to walk. So the class was on the playground. Judah and some other children were playing with the child in his strider. They were kicking the ball and having a really great time, and Judah was right in the middle of all the fun. Well, they slowly mingled away from the little boy in the strider. Judah kind of was close to him. Well, the boy in the strider continued to kick the ball, and he kicked the ball so hard one time that he fell over in his strider. That is a panic moment for everybody here. Judah did not panic. Judah went up to the little boy and stayed with him, kept him calm, while another little girl went to get the teacher. Good news is the little boy was fine, but Judah was a hero in this instance and helped the little boy in a situation that maybe would have stressed somebody out. So he is our student of the month. He's compassionate, hardworking, loving, kind, and energetic too. So please help me in recognizing Judah Hansen as our student of the month.
Congratulations. All right, next we will invite Washington Woods.
Hello, good evening. My name is Libby Baud. I am the principal at Washington Woods Elementary, and I am here this evening to celebrate Mary Clark. She is a fourth grader and our student of the month. She was actually nominated by our special area team and our BAC lead, Mrs. Walker, and we're joined here tonight with Mr. Brinkman, our music teacher, and Mrs. Nerney, our STEM teacher, to help celebrate. They had lots of amazing things to say about you. So I asked them to write it down for me because I wasn't going to remember it all. So I'm going to read to you all the great things that they were able to put together, okay? They shared that Mary is an outstanding example of what it means to be a student leader at Washington Woods, especially in special area classes. She is inquisitive, caring, kind, hardworking, well-mannered, and demonstrates a high level of understanding of all special area content areas. Mary regularly participates in class by raising her hand to share her thoughts, as well as being an integral part of the classroom activities. She synergizes well with others to create a better outcome for the greater good of the class. In addition, Mary has a unique ability of being able to share something about her personal life to relate to what we're studying. For example, this is a cool example. In STEM, we were learning about an engineering design process and inventions. Mary shared that her aunt invented educational children's toys and that her infant photo was captured in a children's book that accompanied the toy. Sharing the toys and the book with the class gave us all a hands-on experience of what it meant to be an inventor. As an outstanding leader, Mary can also lead large or small groups of peers during any activity at BAC. She is the first to volunteer to read instructions for a recipe or a new game. Mary enjoys making our cooking activities for her family on the weekends. She is so thoughtful. When a peer is not making a correct choice, she will encourage them to go a different direction. At BAC, Mary's think win-win attitude makes our days amazing. So it is this, and many other reasons, that today I wanted to nominate you as our Student of the Month. Congratulations. Join me in congratulating.
Congratulations, Mary. And next we'll invite Carrie Ridge.
Hi, I'm Jen Rivera, the assistant principal at Cary Ridge, and I am here tonight to recognize Dimitri Schumer, a second grade student in our building. We're also here with Mrs. Seipel, his second grade teacher, and Mr. Byers, his former first grade teacher. So, Dimitri, lots of teachers in the building had amazing things to say about you, and I can honestly understand why, because you're a pretty cool kid. Here's what Mrs. Seipel said. Dimitri is always willing to help the teacher and others in class. He always offers thoughtful answers or stories to our conversations and discussions. He is positive, honest, and considerate. Dimitri is a true second grade leader. Mr. Byers said, Dimitri has a heart of gold. He was always willing to help out and is a loyal friend to others. He's also a super hard worker. I loved getting to know him last year in my class. Mrs. Overdorf, our media center teacher, said Dimitri is a student who is always lending a hand to help his fellow classmates. He jumps right in when he sees a need, offers a kind word, or helps his classmates when he can. He is a kind and caring friend to those around him. Dimitri always has a smile on his face and brings joy to those around him. And that is a constant theme in all of these messages. If you can see Dimitri, he always has a giant smile on his face. And Mr. Hilton, who wasn't able to be here tonight, had some amazing things to say as well. He said, Dimitri is truly an exceptional kid. He is a hard worker who consistently gives his best no matter the task. He is a wonderful friend who looks out for others and makes sure everyone feels included. Dimitri approaches everything with a big smile and a positive attitude that brings joy to those around him. His dedication and effort, both in his schoolwork and in his friendships, truly shine. On top of all that, Dimitri is just a cool kid, the kind of student who makes others want to be better. His positive spirit, strong work ethic, and big heart make him someone everyone is lucky to know. And honestly, he's the kind of kid I hope to be like when I grow up. Can you believe Mr. Hilton said that? We are so grateful to have him as part of our Cary Ridge family. Please join me in congratulating Dimitri.
Congratulations. Next, we'll invite Maple Glen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tiffany Buzan, and I am the proud principal of Maple Glen Elementary. And I am so excited to introduce you to our student of the month, Benicia Sodi. And up here I have her fan club, which would be her second grade teacher, Mrs. Brooks, and her third grade teacher, Mrs. Russ, who nominated Benicia out of all of our students. And she rose to the top, and I would love to share with you a couple reasons why. But Mrs. Newman, who's also here in the back, shared with me that when Benicia came in first grade, she immediately stood out as a leader among her peers because she was kind, she was considerate, and she was always friendly with all of the students that she worked with in the classroom. All of the special teachers also shared something. Mrs. Cole said that you are an excellent collaborator, a critical thinker, and a great communicator when you're with your groups. Mrs. McClellan said that you are consistently creative in your work and you demonstrate a strong understanding of compromise when you're working with your friends. Benicia approaches both people and projects thoughtfully, and she always shows integrity and genuine effort. Mrs. Brooks shared some things with me and said that you brought a wealth of knowledge to the classroom and you were a strong leader. You enrich the classroom discussions with your insight and you inspire your peers to learn and explore through reading. Mrs. Russ, Benicia's teacher, also has just a few things she wanted to share.
Benicia is such a kind and caring and thoughtful child. She has a wonderful sense of humor and just a heart for others. She recognizes when help is needed and steps in without any hesitation at all. And with her broad knowledge across many subjects, she is always a joy to engage in conversations. Benicia, we are so proud of you, and Maple Glen is very lucky to have you. We can't wait to see all of the wonderful things that you are going to do.
Please join me in congratulating Benicia as our Student of the Month.
All right, congratulations, Benicia. We'll now invite Monon Trail.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jeremy Marvel, the principal at Monon Trail, and I have Miss Josie Povinelli, a kindergarten teacher in our building, and we're here to celebrate Clark Pryor as our Monon Trail Student of the Month. I got to know Clark before he even got to kindergarten because his older sisters went to Monon, and at the end of every single day when I was out at car ride or pickup, Mom would drive by, usually towards the very end, to give him a little more nap time, and I would get to see him about every single day with the window down. Sometimes he would be awake, sometimes he would be asleep, but I'd always get a fist bump or a big wave, so I got to know him a couple years before I get to know most of our kindergartners, and he was a cool kid back then, and he's even a cooler kid now that he's in our building. We get to know a little more about him as a learner and a student. So now Miss Povinelli is going to share a little bit.
Inside of our classroom, Clark is an amazing leader, and he's an even better listener. He listens so well to me, but also he listens a lot to his peers. Whenever he is playing during purposeful play, he will stop what he is doing to make sure that the people around him, when they say his name, make sure that they know that he's listening to him. So he stops and looks at him, which I think is amazing and definitely something that we don't always see in kindergarten. He perseveres through all of his work, even when it's challenging, and he is always happy to answer the questions when he thinks he knows the answer or at least has an idea about it. He is very creative. He makes the most amazing tower blocks. I get pictures of him with them almost every day because they're so great. He loves to joke around and uplift other people, and he laughs easily whenever he makes mistakes, which is one of the best qualities about him. A lot of the other teachers today stopped me in the hallway or stopped me when I was doing something and said that Clark was very deserving of being Student of the Month because he does always have a smile on his face and laughs easily. So please help me celebrate Clark Pryor as our Student of the Month.
Congratulations, Clark, and now we invite Oak Trace.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jane Hitch. I'm the proud principal at Oak Trace Elementary. I am so excited to introduce you to Mr. Callum Russo, along with his kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Fryermood, and his music teacher, Mrs. Griggs, whose son will also be up here in just a few minutes. That's a little foreshadowing there. Callum is an amazing young man. When it was announced that he was our Student of the Month, the letters came pouring in. Everybody had great things to say about this young man, and he's only a kindergartner. Callum was born with a hearing loss and has come to school with his hearing aids and the microphones, and he does such a great job taking care of his equipment. We are so very proud of him. But it's not just about that. Callum just always has a smile. Listen to some of the adjectives that are used to describe him. He's very responsible, according to Mrs. Fryermood, with all of your equipment and excited about getting new books to read. She was honored to say that you deserve to be the Student of the Month. Mrs. Fryermood talks about how he's excelling in his new school environment and achieving at a high level, which is great to hear. She also says that he's becoming an advocate for himself and makes sure that he has the things that he needs, and has a pretty great personality too. Mrs. Saluski said, "You are the sunshine every morning when you meet for your hearing check." You're sweet and a very hard worker. And Mr. Vandenberg, our PE teacher, said he is an amazing kid and is so responsible already. He loves to come and play and works very hard. Mrs. Griggs talks about what a sweet boy he is, and he's happy coming into music class and has a joyful spirit. Mrs. Bolander also talks about how he does a great job advocating for himself in a completely new school environment. He helps with his hearing aids, makes sure they work, and uses his microphone consistently, which is a lot for a kindergartner, but you're doing a great job. And he's always happy and has that great smile on his face. Mr. Gibbs talked about what a great job he does as well. He's kind to others and is helpful in any way. What a great thing. I just think you're going to do so many great things here at Oak Trace. We're so excited about the future working with Callum. Let's give him a round of applause.
Congratulations. Next, we invite Shamrock Springs.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rob Hedges, principal of Shamrock Springs Elementary School, and we've got Miss Biddle here, who's going to share just a few things here about Amy Rodriguez Mendoza. And Amy, did you realize that out of all of the second graders, all of them, there are 150 of them, they picked one person to be the student of the month? Who do you think that was?
Me?
Yes, it was her. So now Miss Biddle's going to share a few things about her.
Were you nervous to answer that in front of everyone? Makes us even. I don't like talking anyway. Okay. Amy is a multilingual learner who has demonstrated remarkable resilience, perseverance, and growth throughout the school year. She has faced significant challenges, including family changes, periods of missed school, emotional hardships, and the ongoing work of learning English. Despite these obstacles, she has shown incredible strength and determination. Over time, Amy has made meaningful academic progress, especially in language arts. She is working hard to build her English skills and has shown steady growth in reading, writing, and expressing her ideas. Her effort and willingness to keep trying, even when learning feels difficult, is inspiring. Just as importantly, Amy has made tremendous social emotional growth. She has worked through emotional difficulties with maturity and courage, and she now comes to school each day with a positive attitude. I also loved watching you, even just now. Every kid that came up here, she was clapping along for him and cheering and talking, whispering about how excited she was for everybody else too. So please join me in congratulating Amy.
All right, congratulations. Now we invite Westfield Intermediate School.
There we go. Good evening. My name is Annette Patchett. I'm the principal of Westfield Intermediate School, and we are excited to have Graydon Arnold with us this evening. My voice is going in and out, so his teacher is here with us that nominated Graydon. So I'm going to introduce Miss Katie Spidell, and she will share a little bit of information about Graydon.
I am one of the lucky teachers of Graydon on our team of 4, and so I'm so thrilled to be here tonight with you guys. We are excited to recognize Intermediate School Student of the Month, Mr. Graydon Arnold. Graydon is an academically talented student who consistently demonstrates critical thinking skills. He doesn't just look for quick, easy answers. He asks thoughtful questions, analyzes problems carefully, and applies what he learns in meaningful ways. His approach to learning shows maturity beyond his years and a genuine curiosity about the world around him. What truly sets Graydon apart, however, is his leadership. He's a leader who gently guides his peers in positive directions, offering support and encouragement without needing attention or praise. Graydon has a calm confidence that radiates effortlessly, making others feel comfortable and respected in his presence. He is easy to talk to, easy to relate to, and someone others naturally trust. Graydon treats everyone with kindness and friendliness, creating a welcoming environment wherever he goes. He leads by example, consistently making good choices and showing strong integrity, even when no one's watching. His actions reflect honesty, responsibility, and respect for others. Graydon embodies the qualities we hope to see in all of our students: academic excellence, character, and compassion. Congratulations, Graydon, on being named Intermediate School Student of the Month. We're proud of you and excited to see the positive impact that you will continue to make. Round of applause for Graydon.
Congratulations. We'll invite Westfield Middle School next.
Good evening. I'm Stacy Swan, principal at Westfield Middle School, and it is my honor and privilege to recognize David Griggs this evening. And some months are easier than others because people just came out of the woodwork to talk about how amazing David is. And when I looked him up in Power School, like the first thing I saw is he had 100% in every single class that he has. So he's not only academically gifted, he's also very talented, and you'll find out he's in our school play. And so we have lots of great things to say about him, and I have 2 of his teachers with me, Stephanie Hodge and Emily Smith, and I'm going to read their comments as well as some others from his teachers. So here we go. I'm going to start with Mrs. Brumbeck, because that's where I went to David's class to tell him he had won Student of the Month, or I was going to be here with him to recognize him, and kind of ask the students in the class, like, why David? And they said things like kind friend, a helper, a leader, and always says thank you to all of his teachers. And so that so the leadership quality just comes through over and over again. And so Mrs. Brumbeck says, he consistently is friendly, helpful, and always puts his best foot forward in everything he does. Other students naturally gravitate to him and him for support. Without hesitation, he is willing to help. If he notices anyone is struggling and needs encouragement, he steps up. What truly sets David apart, however, is the heart behind his actions. He helps others not for recognition or praise, but because serving others is simply who he is. His kindness is genuine, quiet, and rooted in a servant's heart, and making a meaningful impact on everyone around him. And he truly impacts everyone in the school in big ways. So, and then Mr. Kennedy says, one of the many wonderful qualities of David is how genuinely kind he is. He is always polite to his peers and his teachers. Again, every time he leaves the room, he says, "Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Have a good day." And you can tell that he really means it. He encourages others around him to be better. And he is curious,
hardworking, and he has a real love for learning. I consider it a privilege to have him in class. Whoops. They keep going. And then Mrs. Hodge says, David is a kind student who makes our school an enjoyable place to be. Every day, he is respectful, kind, and willing to help. He works hard in the class, consistently producing excellent work. He is sure to tell me, "Have a good day, Miss Hodge," every single day. His energy lights up the room beyond the classroom. David has shown tremendous dedication and leadership as he leads in the school's musical. He is having a truly exceptional year, and recognition is well deserved. And then finally, Mrs. Smith, who's been campaigning for him to be Spotlight student since October. She says, "I have had the ultimate pleasure of working with David for the past 2 years in choir. David is consistently kind to his peers and is well liked. He always has a smile, positive attitude, and is a problem solver. I've witnessed David interacting with many of his peers, both students and adults, asking them how they are and listening intently to their response. He is always inclusive of his peers with special needs as well, treating them as equals and speaking to them like they are his best friends. This year, I've had the unique position to watch David lead our Bible study club, which he initiated all on his own. Seeing a student in 8th grade begin a club they are so passionate about, plan for, and execute meetings completely independent has been a joy. David's words and opinions are valued by his peers, and I foresee that he will continue to touch many more lives as he grows into adulthood. Outside of the classroom, David is playing the lead role of Troy in our musical, high school musical, which you can come check out on March 6th. So you're all invited to our musical. But again and again, David's leadership is what stands out. So no doubt, whatever he chooses to do with his life, and you guys are going to see him again. So be ready for it because he's going to be successful in whatever he chooses to do. So congratulations, David. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
Right, congratulations. All right, last but not least, we invite Westfield High School.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia Deniston, and I'm the principal at Westfield High School. But first, I got to say, that's my nephew right there, too. So it's a special night. So first, love you, buddy. And now I'm really excited, to present to you the Westfield High School Student of the Month, Megan Bushmeyer. And at the high school, we're over 3,000 students. So it's hard to choose someone. However, what we're really looking for is a student who has exhibited excellence in academics, that's a given, but also just really strong character and integrity, but most of all has had a tremendously positive influence on their peers and the staff around them. When staff says, "This person makes me better," that is telling. And so, Megan, you fit that description this month. And I'm really excited to share with you, since she is a senior, we're always sad to see them go, but excited about giving them the opportunity to spread their wings. And I like to give you a little bit of information of what her plans are. So I'm excited to say tonight, I hope this gets a really good applause here. She is off to IU Bloomington. Yes. And she will be studying to be a pediatric speech therapist. And how cool is that? So she is going to study speech, language, and hearing, and then already decided I'm going to go for the master's as well. So she has that plan. At the high school, she's been very involved, a 4-year soccer player. She's been involved in dance marathon and it has leadership roles in that, and that's coming up February 14th. So join us, and there's still a chance to be a part of that. And then she's also really done some things with our other district schools. So she has been a helper in the developmental preschool classroom and then also at BAC at Monon Trail. And if you see her smile at all, can you imagine how she must light up everybody that she comes in contact with our young students. But this is what she says a little bit about her high school experience. I am most proud of the variety of opportunities I have had access to and taken a part in, from challenging AP classes to sports and clubs that have helped me find my passions. WHS has given me so many opportunities I'm grateful for. And I'm proud of myself for how I have found a support system made up of teachers, coaches, and friends who are consistently there for me. And we're really proud of you as well. And there's many staff members have shared, and I'm just going to share just a little bit of what they said, okay, Megan, about you. First of all, our content area director for CTE, Mr. Comer, really described you this way: an exceptional, well-rounded CTE student who excels both academically and has been a leader in service. She is highly respected by both her peers and teachers for her professionalism, kindness, and strong work ethic. And then Mrs. McComb, who I know you've had many times throughout your career, she is a big fan of yours and says, I've had the pleasure of teaching Megan multiple times during her high school career. Having worked closely with her in the classroom, I can confidently say she is one of the most hardworking, compassionate, and exceptional students I have encountered as an educator. She consistently demonstrates a strong work ethic and a genuine commitment to learning. Outside of the classroom, she continues to excel, representing our school with pride and with maturity. Her involvement and dedication reflect her strong sense of responsibility and her ability to balance multiple commitments successfully. She truly is one of a kind and embodies the values we strive to instill in our students. And then lastly, I liked how Mrs. Sweetser, your science teachers, described you. Megan leads with genuine kindness, treating everyone with respect and compassion without seeking recognition. Her honesty and humility show in the way she owns her mistakes, speaks truthfully, and stays true to her values, making her authenticity evident in both her actions and character. It was an honor to have her in class and to have gotten to know her. So those are just a few things. I'm so excited that you're a rock, so proud of you, excited to see where life takes you. And I am giving you one of my all-time favorite books, which you've already exhibited so much grit so far, but there's a little inscription in there for you, and just want to support you and wherever the future takes you. So a big round of applause. Congratulations to Megan Bushmeyer.
Congratulations to all of our January Students of the Month, and now we invite students and their families to the lobby for refreshments and photographs. We will resume the business portion of our meeting in 15 minutes. All right, the first order, thank you. First item on the agenda of the business portion is public comment for agenda items. Those items included the consent agenda, approval of architectural and engineering services, approval of legal advertisement for construction manager as constructor, RFP, permission to advertise an auction, approval of energy tax incentive services, 2025-2026 teacher handbook, and second reading. Approval of the Westfield High School Indiana College Corps partner, and approval of revised 2026-2027 school calendar. So there were no items, so I will save us the rules for public comment, and we'll move to the consent agenda. So the approval of the consent agenda is items that were distributed to the board prior to the meeting and include board minutes, accounts payable vouchers, payroll vouchers, personnel report, overnight and out-of-state field trips. All items have been reviewed in advance and will be approved in a single motion. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill. Do I have a second?
Second.
Carrie, thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Are there any discussion or questions? All right, hearing none, I will ask all those in favor to say yay. Yay.
Yay.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, and at this point, I will turn it over to Chris Baldwin for a special announcement.
Thank you, Mrs. President, members of the board. This evening in personnel, we have an exciting announcement that you just approved. We'd like to welcome and congratulate Sarah Agee as the new assistant principal at Washington Woods Elementary School. So a round of applause for Sarah. Sarah is currently an instructional coach for us in the district, previously an assistant principal in Carmel and also an instructional coach in Hamilton Southeastern Schools, among many other years of experience in education. So just to turn it over to Sarah, any words for the board and introduce anybody that came with you this evening? Just congratulations, Sarah. We're happy to be to see her continue to grow as part of the Westfield Schools family. So thank you.
And Sarah, do you have kids at Cary Ridge?
So our son is Mr. Greg, and he's lived in Westfield for 11 years, so this is just coming home officially. But our first grader, James, goes to Cary Ridge, and then Charlotte will be a kindergartner next year, so we're really good.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yep. All right, that's awesome news. Okay, we're going to move on next to business and operations, and the first item there is the construction update. So each month we look forward to hearing from some of our construction partners on the progress of the projects across the district. And tonight we'll welcome two from our team. The first will be with Meyer Najum, Miss Lori Keller, talking about our Destination Westfield project. Lori?
Aerial photo of the transportation facility. So you can see there we go, the bus canopies here. We've got some buses already out on site, and then the administration portion of the building and the garage. I think Matt's been here several times to show you that much before. Whoops, got that way. This is a shot of the interior of the building. We have been working on getting the furniture installed, and this is the large training room, beautiful room, and getting the punch list items worked through on the interior and the exterior of the building. Contingency, we've used just over $662,000 of contingency out of 1.18 million. This is the bus lift in the bus garage The guys from the existing facility brought a bus over and gave it a test out just to make sure that it worked. Consensus was that it was good. This is the fueling area at the new transportation facility. In the next 60 days, we'll be completing the building interior and exterior punch list items. We'll start the sanitary lateral installation now that the new main is in. And then we'll also be starting on the water lateral installation. That will lag a little bit, still working to get the water main completed. Metronet is boring, getting started, getting internet out to the facility. They will bore from Ditch Road out to the building. They've been waiting until the water line is in just to make sure that the water contractor doesn't cut through their fiber going out there. And then staff has been starting to bring some of their storage items out, getting things set up out there. Here's another aerial view. Visitor parking here on the east side. South side is, oh, I'm all over the place. South side is employee parking, then the bus area in the back, and the fueling canopy. On the town road and Citizens Westfield utilities, the new sanitary main is installed and tested. Working through the citizens' approval, they have a process after the testing is complete, and they have the as-built. The water line installation is moving forward. We've got about 7,500 lineal feet of the 36-inch pipe from Ditch Road headed towards the transportation facility. We're going through Eagletown with that right now. Progress is a little slower moving through there just because of all the utilities. The town road north of the 32 right-of-way, that work is complete on the road. And the asphalt top coat and temporary striping for 32 is complete as well. This is a picture of one of the big excavators that they're using, and then the 36-inch pipe as they come through Eagletown. And then here is a picture of the Newtown Road as it heads back to the transportation facility. This is some aerial photos of the new drainage area, stormwater runoff area. The pond that was put in conjunction with the middle school will eventually tie in and drain down through this outfall and then flow around into the pond. There's also another path for water to go around the backside. And then from this pond, there's an outfall into Little Eagle Creek. Some more aerial views. This is headed into Westfield along 32, and then an aerial view of the water pipe installation going through Eagletown. Another aerial view of the detention area, and then kind of a different shot of the site from looking from 32. On the operations building, the exterior shell is complete and doors are installed. The light fixtures and the plumbing fixtures have been installed, and site utilities are being made ready for final connection. Here's the interior of the building, and then here's a shot of the exterior of the building. And in the next 60 days, we'll be finishing the interior finishes and completing the utilities final connections, getting that building ready to be for the punch list, and then eventually to be occupied. And here is an aerial of the entire area, kind of buses everywhere along there. And that is our presentation. Any questions? No? Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Now we will invite Scott Wells with Garmon Construction.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to give an update tonight on Midland Crossing and Shamrock Springs Elementary. We have, for tonight, we're going to do a progress update and then a quick look ahead of some upcoming items and then go through the contingency log. I'm going to start with Midland Crossing. And as we always start with the drone photos, so this is what the site looked like back in November. As you can see, we have our paving in, we have our roads in, and this is a picture of the front of the building. And as you can see, we're working the brick around the front. So fast forward into the first part of this month, and the brick is complete. And what we're working on now is, weather permits, we're working on the EIFS and the metal wall panel. So quick project progress update for Midland. The interior framing and the drywall, we're almost complete, about 95 to 80% complete with that. We're about 70% complete with the drywall finishing, and of course, interior painting is following right behind that. We are about 90% complete with all of our in-wall rough end and overhead rough end with the mechanical, plumbing, and electrical systems. And then as we get further into the final paint, we'll be following up with the acoustical ceiling grid. The resinous floors have started in the education wings. We're about 40 to 50% complete with that. And then we have received our sanitary main approval from Citizens Energy Group. So that will now allow us to do the laterals, which we'll be starting on this week. And then after that, we get approval from that, and then we'll be able to tie in our water main, which will be just in time because we're ready to fire off some of our mechanical, plumbing, and electrical equipment here in the next 60 to 90 days. So looking ahead on some upcoming items, we are starting our final finishes, and so we'll be starting the luxury vinyl tile and carpet soon. We'll be working on the glass inside the building, and then our elevator subcontractor will start at the end of this month. So, and again, we'll still continue as weather permits to work on the exterior of the building. So this is just our finish map. This is as we get into the final finishes, you're going to hear me reference different areas of the building. So this area A, B, and D are the education wings. Area C is admin and the media center. And area E is the main electrical room, main mechanical room, and the kitchen and the cafeteria. And then area F is the gymnasium and the stage area. And that carries through to the second floor as well. So some pictures of the different areas. So this is area C. This is on the second floor looking down the stairs into area C, which is the media center. And then the picture to the right is on the first floor of the media center. And as you can see, we have paint on the walls, and then we have started our ceiling grid up in the media center. So this is a shot of our main mechanical room. The hydronic pumps are installed, the chiller's installed, and we're working on all the piping to all the equipment. This is one of the electrical rooms in the education wing in B, and as we get all of these energized, we'll be able to start the lights. We have, for the last 2 weekends, we've had shutdowns with Duke Energy. So 2 weeks ago, we powered up the main transformer, and then this past weekend, we powered up all the switch gear. So as we get all of these rooms energized, we'll be able to install the lights and get them burning, which you'll see some pictures here in a minute. So this is in area D2. As you can see, we have the lights installed and they are on. This is in area C, and we're working on the ceiling grid in that area. This is a picture of the gymnasium. We're just now starting the final paint of the ceiling structure there. This is the art and STEM area. You can see we're adding casework and doing the dry fall paint in those rooms as well. So the ceramic tile is done in the education wings. We've started our fixtures and then also the drinking fountains. So as far as the contingency usage for Midland, we started off at 1.7 or 1.97 million. We've used 367,000 to date for a new balance of 1.6 million. So Shamrock Springs, again, some drone photos. This is what the site looked like back in November. As you can see, we got all the DENS glass on around the building and working on the roof, and then just starting brick at that time. So fast forward to the month of January, all of the DENS glass is installed, and we have the roof installed in all areas but D and B. So as you can see, we've started the brick here in area E. We've gone all the way around the building, around the gymnasium, and we're working in this courtyard area in D. So some progress basically on this job. The interior metal stud framing is complete on the first floor, and we are working on overhead and in-wall roughing on the mechanical, plumbing, and electrical systems. We're also doing the top-out drywall in area C as well. So looking ahead on this job, we're going to continue working around the building with the brick. We have to finish the interior masonry in areas E and F, and then finish the roof. And then as weather allows, we'll continue to work on the exterior with the exterior insulation finish systems. So some pictures here. This is area D2. As you can see, this area is wide open. We haven't started metal stud framing there. That will start here in the next few weeks. This is the first floor in area C. We have got the metal studs complete, and we've topped out most of the drywall in this area. So for the contingency for Shamrock Springs, we started at 1.98 million. We've used 241,000 for a new balance of 1.7 million. So any questions on Midland or Shamrock?
How's our timelines looking for each?
Pretty good. We are on schedule on both jobs. Obviously, a more compressed schedule for Midland, but we are still scheduled to finish early summer to be ready for class in August of this year. Same, scheduled to finish in 1st of November for Shamrock, so we can be ready for class in January. So both jobs are on schedule and tracking pretty well. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to report on the other projects that we've got going on construction within the district, with both Hagerman Construction building the new Middle School West facility, and then following Hagerman's update, I'll report on the projects that Performance Services Design Build contractor is doing for us at both Westfield Elementary, at least currently called Westfield Elementary Project, and then the Middle School East project. Westfield Middle School West with Hagerman Construction, doing very well. And I'm just showing a couple of the exterior pictures here with the brick and block exterior work that's ongoing and windows that are being installed. Kind of a quick update, just overall, you can see there, we've got siding systems that are going within the academic courtyards, and I'll show you a picture on that in just a minute. Like I said, curtain walls, window installation. Just like on all our projects, they're broken down into different areas. I don't have a picture showing the breakdown of this, but Unit E, which would be really the western portion of the building where the education pods are, that roofing's complete. Unit F, or if we go to the east, it's gymnasium, cafeteria, those larger spaces. That roofing work has begun now. Drywall, and I'm going to show you a bunch of pictures on this. Drywall is being done. Drywall finishing is ongoing. Painting. The building, for being really about a year and a half away from construction, looks really well. They're doing a really good job, and you'll see that in the pictures that I've got coming up. MEP, overhead work is going on. Ceiling grids. Parts of this building, if you do get a chance to tour it, will look like they're really close, and they kind of are. There's still a lot of work to be done, but Hagerman's doing a really good job staying on schedule, actually a little bit ahead of schedule. So pictures through the building. That's one of the academic courtyards and those finishes that I mentioned earlier that's being installed. The picture to the right is a picture from the media center gathering area. You can see all the framings completed on that area. Some of the education pod areas, and you can see the drywall is complete, and they're into drywall finishing now in this particular picture. I've got some others that are going to show where painting is complete. The picture on the left is showing, it's hard to see, but on the ceiling area, that is kind of the final green coat. We wanted to get an area completed with what we call final painting, so we could see the colors, make sure they're acceptable. That is the actual Westfield green, and it looks like it's the Westfield green. So we've kind of they've got some final painting done in some of the areas to make sure it's the colors that we want. And you can see ceiling grids are installed as well. So obviously all the overhead, mechanical, electrical, plumbing work has to be complete before ceiling grids go in, so that's why we're at the point where we can start to do that there. Picture on the right is one of the many mechanical rooms that are throughout that building. So the heat pumps are being installed. So we're like I said, we're probably a little bit ahead of schedule here. Things are going very well. Construction contingency utilization on this project, we've spent roughly $390,000 of the $4.15 million of construction contingency, so that's sitting just over 9%. Performance services, Westfield Elementary. This past winter break, we completed phase 1 at the elementary school, and that is the media center relocation. Kind of in what was formerly the main entrance. When you walked in, there was the large open area. The two pictures that you see there, we've over break relocated all of the media center, books, cases, offices into the new spaces. So you can kind of see the layout of that. Additional work that's begun, the old media center will become the special education classrooms. So that work has begun. If you do get a chance to go over there, you'll see the old media center is gone. They've actually started the metal framing within those spaces, and I'll show you some pictures of the work that's going on in there. That work is expected to be completed by spring break, at the end of spring break, I'm sorry. So second, third week of April. The special education wing will be completed. I'll show you some pictures. That's as you come in the front doors, that's kind of the entrance to the media center. One of the conference/breakout spaces just off of the media center. So we've got incorporating some nice colors there. So it's a really inviting space. Kids really enjoy this. This is a couple pictures from the existing media center. So this, if you recall, was pretty much an open space. You can see they have already gotten a fair portion of the metal framing is installed for the new classroom configuration that's in that space. So they're moving right along in there. They've done a great job of isolating. I didn't take a picture of it, but the picture in the lower right, you can kind of see, get my pointer here, you can see where the insulation is along the outside wall, and really that's a sound barrier, construction barrier. They've done a great job building what I would call a very secure barrier, securing the work zone from the hallway that surrounds the old media center. So really hard pressed if you're on the other side of that wall to tell really what's going on inside there. You don't see, you don't hear anything. So PSI did a really nice job constructing a very, what I'll call formidable barrier separating the work zone from the hallway. Any questions on the Hagerman or Performance Services projects? Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate hearing from everyone tonight and look forward to seeing the projects come together. Next on our business and operations agenda is the approval of the architectural and engineering services for the Westfield High School addition and renovation. At this time, I will ask Dr. Greg Hunt to present on this topic.
Thank you, Madam President. Staying in line with obviously the construction and the work that needs to be done throughout the district. As part of our strategic plan, it's important for us to continue to keep up with the timeline as we prepare for the students at Westfield Washington High School. And that being said, it's important for us to secure architect for this initial project. And so what I have outlined for the board this evening, you will have a copy of the proposal from CSO Architects. And that being said, just a brief overview of the proposal. CSO Architects, in partnership with a multidisciplinary design team, will provide full professional services for the renovation and expansion of Westfield Washington School. The project scope includes replacement of major mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, renovation of classrooms, restrooms, locker rooms, and corridors, construction of new classrooms, performing arts, multi-purpose space, athletic and locker room facilities, and significant site improvements, including parking, sidewalks, football practice fields, stormwater detention, and full replacement of the track system. The project will be delivered using a construction manager and constructor, or CMC method, with CSO assisting in that CM selection process. Project details, this is based upon the estimated construction cost of $88 million. So CSO's base professional fee would be $5,280,000, which is a lump sum, plus the reimbursables that are outlined in the proposal that you have before you. Just a brief schedule, our outlook, schematic design. We're looking at January through April 26, design development May through July of 26, construction documents July through September of 26, bidding October of 2026, and board approval November of 2026. And then the construction would be May of 26 through August of 28 with multiple and early bid packages. So the services would include architectural and interior design, civil, structural, mechanical, electrical, and technology, engineering, landscape, and site design, food service design, construction administration, furniture selection, and procurement in coordination with the district standards and regulatory agencies. The fiscal note, again, I will make mention, professional services fees of the base of $5,280,000, and that is based upon that $88 million estimated budget. And so this evening, the administration recommends that the Board of School Trustees approve CSO proposal and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute the agreement and proceed with the project design and CMC procurement.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hunt. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve CSO's proposal and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute the agreement and proceed with project design and CMC procurement as presented.
I'd make a motion.
Thank you, Mike. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bill. It's been moved and seconded to approve CSO's proposal and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute the agreement and proceed with project design and CMC procurement. Are there any discussions or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you very much.
All right, I believe we're going back to you for the legal advertisement of construction manager as contractor RFP.
Thank you again, Madam President. Again, to keep in line with what we just mentioned earlier, which was the construction manager as constructor, or the CMC. Part of this process, the school corporation intends to procure construction manager as constructor CMC services for the upcoming facility project at Westfield High School. Indiana code permits the use of the CMC delivery method and requires public advertisement of requests for proposals. Approval of this action authorizes the administration to publish the legal advertisement and proceed with the CMC selection process. I've outlined the following as a timeline with this evening's approval from the board for the CMC process. Legal advertisement, so it needs to be advertised in 2 different papers in 2 weeks or 2 different times. The first advertisement of the CMC proposal or RFP and release of CMC RFP would be in the Hamilton County Reporter. That would be on January the 21st. The 26th would be the first advertisement of the CMC RFP in the Times. And then the 28th would be the second for the Hamilton County Reporter. And the second would be the second advertisement in the Times. And then on the 5th of February, the CMC RFP deadline, and it would be at 10 o'clock a.m. And then it is our intent to bring to the board at the February 10th board meeting the CMC for board approval. For a fiscal note, there's none at this time because this is just the procurement steps only. So the administration recommends that the Board of School Trustees approve the legal advertisement for a request for proposals, or RFP, for construction manager as constructor services in accordance with Indiana law and the selection process.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hunt. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the legal advertisement for a request for proposals for construction manager as constructor services as presented. Thank you, Carrie. Do I have a second? Thank you, Amber. It's been moved and seconded to approve the legal advertisement for a request for proposal for construction manager as constructor services. Is there any discussion or any questions?
So Greg, do you plan to have somebody selected by the 10th?
We do.
All right, do we feel like that's enough time for the respondents to put together their proposals and get them into us?
Yeah, I do believe it is enough time. We have worked with multiple constructors as construction managers as constructor in the projects that we have, so it would be actually more of a condensed RFP and not a huge extensive RFP that would allow us the opportunity to review the base of those proposals and come to the board with what we believe would be a good recommendation for that CMC.
Okay, it seemed like a short timeline.
Yeah.
I can't remember what we used before. We haven't done one in a little while, so.
Right.
I just don't remember. Okay.
I'll jump in there and just echo what Greg said with the construction managers, the 4 we've used, we've had a lot of success. And so I think the first time through, we did a lot of learning, did comprehensive, and so we have a process working with the legal team to kind of shorten that process. And so even for the construction managers, not to put a heavy burden on them, but still meet the requirements of the law.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So.
All right, any other discussion or conversation? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. All right, we'll turn it back to Dr. Hunt for permission to advertise an auction.
Thank you again, Madam President. Before you this evening, the board, you will find a list of items that we would like to take to auction. So before we would do that, number one, that the board would need to approve those items that we would then submit for an auction. But the other thing that we need to do is have the board approve or authorize the advertisement of an auction. So there were two things that would be included in this particular recommendation. And so if there's other governmental agencies that we may submit some of those items to prior to the auction, or let them know that these things are being, what I would say, disposed. I hate to say disposed because that seems like a negative, but I mean, obviously, there's legal ways in which we have to dispose of our assets within the district. But we would allow that time in which to do those things as well, because there may be some needs for some of the other, like I said, municipalities that would be interested in some of those particular pieces of equipment. But this evening, I ask that the administration recommends that the Board of School Trustees approve the list of supplies or items for auction and to publish the legal advertisement of the auction.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the list of surplus items for auction and to publish the legal advertisement of the auction as presented. Thank you. Amber, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. It's been moved and seconded to approve the list of surplus items for auction and to publish the legal advertisement of the auction. Is there any discussion or any questions?
Is this an online auction or is it?
We are intended to have an
On-site.
online auction, yes.
Okay.
You put it like one of those gov
Well,
auction things.
there are certain auction, there's a certain establishments that you can utilize as far as those online auctions. One of the benefits of having an online auction too is that you don't necessarily have to bring everything into a central location. You could be able to then have an online auction, and then those items would be actually be able to be received or picked up at those particular locations. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into trying to centralize all of those things when you have a physical or in-person auction, but that online auction will allow us that opportunity to be more efficient. And I do believe that we'll have obviously more participation through an online auction than a physical or in-person auction.
I just can't remember what Mr. Michael used, and I think you had success with it.
Yeah.
Are we just going to use the same thing, or do
Yes.
we know? Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Bill. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, sorry. Next item is the approval of the energy tax incentive services. And for that, I will turn it over to Dr. Hunt once again.
Once again, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, President. This evening, I'm very excited about what I'm bringing to the board this evening for recommendation of approval. This has been some time coming, and there's been a lot of legwork and thought that has gone into this particular recommendation. We're going to go back in time a little bit as far as the construction projects that we have going on throughout the district. With those projects, one of the things that was introduced was geothermal and the use of geothermal on those projects. And the benefit of that geothermal, one of the benefits is that we're going to be able to capitalize on is the tax incentives. So Westfield Washington Schools has invested in geothermal energy systems as part of the long-term facilities and sustainability strategy. Recent federal legislation allows public schools or public school districts to access clean energy tax incentives, including the geothermal investment tax credit through effective pay or direct pay provisions. So Walker Blue is who we are recommending this evening. There are not too many firms that are out there that would allow us, and there's a lot of legalities that go along with this and being able to submit the proper paperwork and be prepared for any type of audits that we as a district that may be able to be faced with those particular tax incentives. So it's important for us to work with an operation that would allow for all of these different stipulations and specifics that go along with this tax incentive. So Walker Blue is a professional services firm specializing in energy tax incentives for public entities. The firm has submitted a proposal to assist the district in identifying, documenting, and filing for eligible geothermal-related tax credits to maximize financial return while ensuring compliance with the Internal Revenue Services or requirements. Walker Blue's proposal services include the following: evaluation of geothermal projects for ITC eligibility, calculation and substantiation of eligible credit amounts, preparation and support of required IRS filings and documentation, advisory support throughout the elective pay or direct pay process. As a fiscal note, Walker Blue's compensation is structured as a professional services fee associated with the successful identification and filing of eligible credits. The anticipated financial benefit to the district is expected to significantly exceed the cost of the services. Specific fee details are outlined in the proposals provided to the board. I will tell you this, that it was a very, I think that was the estimate that was given from Walker Blue on all of the details that we have presented to them as far as those geothermal projects are considered. There was an estimate of about $33 million of incentive that they are anticipating. We are taking a very, very conservative approach, and we do think between $12 and $15 million of incentives is that what we would be looking for as a district. So very excited about that, a large return on our investment. So the administration recommends that the Board of School Trustees approve the Walker Blue proposal to pursue available geothermal investment tax credits as the service supports financial stewardship, sustainability goals, and the maximization of external funding opportunities for the district. I will tell you this as well, we have vetted this. Like I said, we've spent a lot of time, when I talked about the legwork, doing a lot of research on this particular firm, making sure that we were making the wisest decision for the school district. So I ask that the board approve the recommendation as submitted.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hunt. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Walker Blue proposal to pursue available geothermal investment tax credits as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill. Do I have a second? Thank you, Carrie. It's been moved and seconded to approve the Walker Blue proposal to pursue available geothermal investment tax credits. Is there any discussion or any questions?
Thanks for working on this. We've been talking about it. I'm pretty excited about it.
We
so
have.
It's great.
Yeah, through our finance committee, these are the, this is what we have been discussing, yes.
I can't remember if you told us if other surrounding school districts are doing some of this as well. Maybe they don't have the constructions we have.
Not like what we have, right?
Okay.
And we're not able to submit, obviously construction continues to happen, so we cannot do anything until that construction is complete. So the Early Learning Center here has been completed, so that would be the first one that we would be working on submitting.
Okay, cool. All right.
So this is a one-time tax credit, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think you answered my other question. As each construction project, we would then submit those individually?
Correct. Yeah, so it wouldn't come in all one lump
Right.
sum, but yeah, as those projects are completed, then we will work on submitting the necessary paperwork for those incentives.
Nice.
Also, just quick shout out to Brian Kelly out there to promoting geothermal with our partners and sticking with it as through the design process, because there's a big opportunity here. So thanks, Brian.
All right, if there's no other discussion, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hunt. We will now turn to Human Resources, part of the agenda, and hand it over to Dr. Chris Baldwin for the second reading of the Teacher Handbook.
Thank you very much, members of the board. This is the second reading of the Teacher Handbook. As a reminder, this is an agreement between the Westfield Classroom Teachers Association and the WWS School Board in terms of clearly defining working conditions and expectations for our bargaining unit members. And our goal will be to continue to have this as a board-approved policy moving forward. Since the first reading, we did have an addition in terms of language. Our process has been, since I've been in this position for several years, anytime somebody acquires an additional degree like a master's degree, to move to that master's salary schedule, we do honor that up until September 1st. If it is provided documentation transcripts by September 1st, then we make that move. And then if it's past that point, we then would do it the following school year. So it just clarifies. We've not had that in language anywhere, and there's been some questions when people have acquired their master's degree as to when they change columns. So now, again, it's always been our process, but now it's very clear that that needs to be completed prior to September 1 to make that change. Again, the majority of the language that's in this handbook is language that used to be as part of the master contract. And then as the state changed that they're required or allowed only salary and benefits to be included in the master contract, a lot of that language was moved over to a handbook, and it has been adapted and changed over time. I would like to thank, again, all in red this evening, members of the Westfield Classroom Teachers Association. As always, this is a collaborative approach. Just want to always be transparent and be clear as to what the expectations are and how we operate, and this is something that we'll, on an annual basis, through the discussion process, do updates and bring that to the board. Again, with thanking WCTA, I want to especially thank Chris Sluter and his leadership team, but Chris, I don't know if you'd like to say anything this evening regarding the handbook and other collaborative practices we've had working with the board and WCTA.
I think Chris pretty much covered it. Used to almost 20 years ago at this point, every aspect of our employment as teachers was put into the contract, and I actually have an old contract in my bag. I'll show and tell tonight, but it went from this stick to this stick. So all those things then went to turned into discussable items, and then, as you know, a couple of years ago, even discussion was made optional. So this codifies our working conditions as well as the discussion process, because that's a handbook item. So what you're doing tonight is truly a pro-teacher act, and we appreciate that. I want to recognize the folks here. We even have an association leader from Hamilton Southeastern tonight, because other districts are looking at what you're doing. You're being role models for other boards, in my opinion. So putting this into policy really gives teachers some comfort, and it's a psychological thing for them. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Again, as we always say, we appreciate that collaboration and all of us doing what's best for our teachers and then in turn for our students. So with that, this evening, with any questions, I ask that you approve the 2025-26 teacher handbook as presented.
All right, thank you for that, Dr. Baldwin. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2025-2026 teacher handbook as presented. Thank you, Amber. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. It's been moved and seconded to approve the 2025-2026 teacher handbook. Is there any discussion?
No, I just want to piggyback what these guys have been saying. They work so well together, and as a group, we're all on the same team. I think you've heard me preach that before, trying to find out. Sorry about Southeastern's problems. I got a lot of friends over there. Hopefully they'll start coming over here a little bit, but my sympathy for you guys. There's a lot of good teachers everywhere, so I appreciate that. But I just want to piggyback the good working relationship that we do have.
Also say thank you. Great job.
Yep. Job well done. All right, at this time, I will call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. And for the record, I'm an aye. I think I forgot to say anything. So the motion passes. And with that, we will now thank Dr. Baldwin for his time and participation and turn it over to Dr. Hoover to give us information on the Employee Engagement Pulse Survey.
We'll let it be part of HR for.
Just for, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Clean things up a little bit. Thank you, Madam President, and Dr. Baldwin as well. Members of the board, I'd like to talk to you about what's called a pulse survey. Just a quick refresher, if you remember last school year,
our staff was involved with Advisa, our consultant on leadership and culture, consultant of ours, and we did what's called a 15-5 engagement survey, which was a pretty intense and engagement survey that was utilized to really look at what our staff members are believing as far as their level of engagement, and it gave us as a district information from all of our various groups, whether that was administrators, teachers, and other in schools. And we did a lot of work with Advisa on then to how to interpret that information, and then how it would help us as we work together, moving forward. And it was admittedly a fairly involved and lengthy process, and took some training and time. One of the things that they recommend and that we want to make sure that we do are less invasive pulse surveys within a year of doing our original engagement survey. And so what that really is more of a short-term kind of check-in, frequent check-in, kind of a lighter lift assessment that our staff members would do, about 5 to 15 questions, and you only give it maybe once or twice in a year. Advisa tends to, there's three times that they think it's highly important to do that. One is an organizational change, so a restructuring, the merger acquisition, obviously going through the rebalancing over this time is going to be a very important restructuring of our staff members, and so that's a huge part. Also in management shifts, so whenever you get a new leader, change in leadership, obviously with Dr. Atha taking the superintendent role as of this school year, that meets a great requirement and perfect time for us to really work with our staff. And so there's no action necessarily needs to take place on this, but we wanted to make sure that we kept you guys updated and kind of to share this information with you. The timeline is probably February, March for this, I believe, just because our current contract with Advisa is up at that time. And so we plan to be doing this with our staff members that did our engagement survey, but and then obviously would be sharing that information with you and with them as we move forward to give Dr. Atha as well as our administrative team here information on what our staff is feeling and how we can continue to improve as leaders. And Dr. Atha, I don't know if you had any.
I was just going to say, the goal is to time it up with our spring S2S with our principals, so that gives them some data from their action plans from the beginning of the year to share and reflect on. And then we will, and Stacy Pratt, remind me, we can share some of that summary even from the past that we've done. Stacy has that all in electronic format from all of our past whole school S2S meetings. And so that's high level data on what each school is working on. So we'll incorporate that in there and also provide the board with a summary of that.
All right, thank you very much for that. I think that'll be interesting. It's good timing to get that feedback. So thank you guys for doing that. We will go to the curriculum portion of our agenda, and we'll start with Dr. Hoover going over the Westfield High School Indiana College Core Partner Agreement.
Thank you again, Madam President, members of the board. I wanted to bring this to you, just a quick reminder. The ICC, or the Indiana College Core, is a 30 credit hour block of essentially transferable classes that our students, all Indiana Public Schools, offer. And the intent of it was so many of our students that take classes in particular that in the past they would take, and then sometimes some schools would accept them and some schools wouldn't. So the intent was to create a group that all universities could offer, and then they could be transferable to all schools. And so obviously we wanted to participate in that with so many of our students already doing dual credit and AP type classes. That was an area that we have participated in. From a standpoint of why you do it, it's a 30 block. It obviously can be seamlessly transferred amongst buildings. It can obviously save a tremendous amount of time and financial. Some students can walk into college with 30, 40, or even more college hours already done, so it really can save a year of tuition or time. And then it's broken down into competencies. There's 6 foundational areas that they focus on. And so we have done that. Last year, we chose to do that with Ball State University. We did that at the time because we liked the various classes and the opportunities that they had. There are obviously other universities that do that, Indiana and so forth. Quite honestly, in full transparency, after working with Ball State for 1 year and then our high school staff, having conversations with their colleagues across the district, across various districts in Hamilton County, they have asked if we would switch to our partner with Indiana University Kokomo. Some of the reasons that they asked if we would switch to them, the first one being financially, that there is no cost for the IU dual credit classes. Ball State's for about $150 per 3-course class. Although that's not the only reason to do it, it's kind of an added bonus. So we'll get to do that with our families and our students. They offer free graduate classes for our teachers to obtain dual credit certification. So if we want to offer dual credit, teachers have to get trained. And in many cases, we have to pay for that. So they offer that free to our teachers. If we want a new free student access to online ACP courses through IU High School. And then they have a streamlined registration process, seamless credit across IU campuses. So even though universities will accept the 30 credits, some universities will still put stipulations on how they will accept those. So in some cases, all you're doing is wiping out a lot of your elective classes at your university. If they stay within an IU track of any IU, so that could be IUN, IUK, IU Bloomington, all those classes would transfer exactly how IU would accept them. So that's actually an extra bonus. Now, obviously, we still would have, students that go to Purdue or Ball State might not have quite that, but they're still going to have transferability, but not unless they stay in the IU network. So that's an added bonus that, all the schools are dealing with. And then just some of the strong support and enthusiasm from current teachers about returning to IU ACP. We've just had Noblesville Schools is using them. They've had an excellent experience when we talk to our colleagues there. So this is really coming from Alicia and Bill at the high school have really kind of been the focus point. And Bill has spent countless hours working with Ball State IUK and really then wanted to make a recommendation that we switch our MOU and do this with move to, so what I would be asking is that you approve that we do a memorandum of understanding between Westfield Washington Schools and Indiana University Kokomo, effective July 1. This would be for 1 year, and then what we would do is obviously analyze this throughout this year, and if we were happy as a district and at the high school, then we would bring this to you each annually to recommend.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hoover. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between Westfield Washington Schools and Indiana University Kokomo for the Indiana College Core, effective July 1, 2026, as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Amber. It's been moved and seconded to approve the MOU between Westfield Washington Schools and Indiana University Kokomo for the Indiana College Core, effective July 1, 2026. Is there any discussion or any questions? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right. And next, we will move to the revised 2026-2027 school calendar.
That'll be me.
By Dr. Athan.
Yeah. So, yes, thank you, Mrs. Ogle, members of the board. This is the revised, stop laughing, 26-27 school calendar. We did do a revision. Carrie was asking me when they changed, we had the wrong live dates, and so we had the updated live dates, and then Liv decided to go from 3 days to 4 days, and they're going to be here Thursday, and there's just, they're going to start early Thursday morning on the 20th. So this revision basically scoots everything and the week of the 17th back. So the first student day was going to be a Tuesday, and we wouldn't have school on a Friday. Now the first student day will be on Monday the 17th, and we won't have school on Thursday and Friday. We really hesitated to move anything for our teachers in preparation into the week of August 3rd to the 7th, because we know that's a transition summer coming up for us, and we wanted to give our teachers and even our staff that's helping move that last week. So we are going to have to work to condense our new educator orientation. We'll do a big day on Monday, and then we'll incorporate some things in those teacher work days. Those green days of the 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, we will get with our Teachers Association and our principals, and we'll work out how those days work. Typically, we have 3 days before students. This year we have 4. So what we're thinking, we've always had one teacher day, one kind of school day, and then one district day. That extra day will be a teacher day, especially for those K through 5 teachers and 6th grade teachers in the intermediate school that have to move classrooms, give them a setup day, and then a traditional preparation day. So we'll figure out how that looks. Right now, I believe we targeted Rock the Block to be on that Monday, August 10th. And then we'll go into getting that. So this approval, this recommendation allows us to work around Live Golf. It also gives the normal 3 student days in the first week to ease them back in, to ease us all back in maybe, the appropriate teacher work days, and then it does protect to the best of our ability the length of the summer, because of our operational needs. And so this is, we believe, the 3rd time is a charm, and we are asking the board to approve this. Everything else in the calendar would stay the same. It's just the start of school. And then we'll begin working or finalizing the 27-28 calendar, which we have a calendar meeting. So hopefully we'll have that at the February board meeting.
All right, thank you for that, Dr. Atha. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the revised 2026-2027 school calendar as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Carrie. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Amber. It's been moved and seconded to approve the revised 2026-27 school calendar. Is there any discussion or questions?
Now, this is why it's good to have meetings with the city and you and the mayor talking and everything else, so we don't have to keep having playing C, D, E, and so on, so.
Well, I think this was Live.
Yeah.
This is Live, but the city okays it.
Yeah, I do think the Live had a successful tournament here in Westfield, and so so that's a positive, and so the extra day will be great for the community and probably also help them, support them, and raise some dollars. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think anyone who participated now understands why you would not want students in school when they're down the street. So, good move. All right, it's been moved and seconded. I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. All right, folks, that is the end of our business items. We'll now move to the superintendent and other board members to share success stories from the past month.
See, before they leave, I got this one. Our success story is the TAG grant as we finalize the submission. Last Monday, we took a frustrating, tough situation and through some just collaboration, started out maybe just throwing things out there to see if they would stick. I think we came up with a pretty good solution. So just want to appreciate and say thank you for your openness just to process that with us. And again, I think it's going to make the best of the situation. So thank you.
So this past month, I had the privilege of attending the Hamilton County Leadership Academy to be able to highlight school boards within the district, and everyone enjoyed hearing what school boards do and don't do. They had a little yes/no paddle, and everyone thinks that we can do a lot of things that we can't, so it was good. Educated them up. And then John and Rebecca and I attended Shamrock Academy to local residents in Westfield and did similar conversation. Bourbon and Bling for the Westfield Education Foundation raised $50,000 in December, so very successful. And with that, we're actively looking for sponsorships for Topgolf that will be on March 1st. So reach
And
out
Rock and Roll Bowl is opening up. I
for
don't know.
March 6th.
Yeah, March 6th, but faculty sign up, I think will happen this week, maybe.
Will
or-
it? I don't know that detail.
End of this week or early next week, Ashley said this morning. So we'll have Rock and Roll Bowl on Friday, March 6th. And then I also attended after school board members with superintendents. The 6 Hamilton County superintendents were at the Hamilton County Leadership Academy, and so they asked us what about our role, what we did, and I think what our challenges are. So that went well. And then after that, they had some foundations. So Ashley was there representing the foundations. There are 3 executive directors for foundations there. So we were well represented on that Thursday.
I'm just gonna share a success story of our transition here, because Andrew Manis shared with me that not all boards do what we do with our norms and the slate and smooth transition leadership one year to the next. So just enjoy that we have this peaceful process. We can keep focusing on business of the district and needs of the community, and continue working together in a nice fashion. So I think that's a huge success for us. Anybody else?
I'd like to recognize the Hoosiers for the big win. And our very own Jackson Wasserstrom, who graduated with my son.
Yeah.
2022, he stuck it out. He's been on the team all 4 years, and wow, what a ride. So very exciting.
And he was in a WRTV highlighted?
I think so, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, and then Dylan Thieneman made it pretty far
He
for
did
Oregon.
make it, yeah.
So
That's a
congrats.
good point.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
In the draft.
Going in the draft.
Pro.
Yeah.
I coached him in 5th and 6th grade,
That must
So
have
that's
set
it.
over.
Why?
rec league football. So I'm taking all the credit there.
Foundations, I'm telling you.
WISI football right there. That's awesome. All right. Our next meeting, unless anyone else has anything to share. Carrie, sorry. Good? Okay. All right. Our next meeting will be in this room on February 10th at 6:30. And please note that at the conclusion of this meeting, regular board meeting, we do have a Board of Finance meeting required by law. It's also an annual item. So we will move straight into that after we adjourn. So I will call for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill,
Second.
and I'll take Amber as a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, meeting adjourned. All right. Good evening, everybody. I am inviting you to attend the Board of Finance meeting. Since we have quorum, I will now call this Board of Finance meeting to order. This meeting was advertised in accordance with the open door law. The Board of Finance must conduct the following business at its annual meeting. Number 1 is the board must elect a president and secretary. The board must review a written report that summarizes the investments made by the school corporation during the 25 calendar. The written report must be prepared by the investment officer. 3, the board must review the overall investment policy of the school corporation. 4, the board must receive and review a written report on the financial condition of the school corporation. This report must be given by the superintendent or the superintendent's designee. In reporting on the school corporation's financial condition, the superintendent must use the financial and qualitative indicators determined under IC 20-19-7-4 by the Fiscal and Qualitative Indicators Committee. So at this time, we'll move to the recommendation of officers. And as stated earlier, the board must elect a president and a secretary. At this time, I will entertain a motion to have the Board of Trustees serve as a whole on the Board of Finance, with officers serving in the same roles as elected on the School Board of Trustees.
So moved.
Thank you, Carrie. Do I have a second? Thank you, Bill. It's been moved and seconded to have the School Board of Trustees serve as a whole on the Board of Finance, with officers serving in the same roles as elected on the Board of School Trustees. Is there any discussion or questions? Just want to point out this is historically what we've done year after year. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. All right, now I'll invite Dr. Hunt to review the Investing Officers Report, Corporation Investment Policy, and fiscal indicators of the school corporation. If you would, Dr. Hunt.
In your packet, you will see the Board of Finance Bank report. I just want to report to the board, this is obviously for 2025, that with Huntington Bank, the total of the services charged for the amount for the year was $15,545.51. I will tell you that we are constantly looking at potential. I'm not saying that we're going anywhere. I mean, it's a big undertaking, obviously, when you look at different banks or different institutions. But we do look at those different things and take in consideration if it's something that we would entertain as far as the RFP. Our business department have discussed that, and at this time we are very happy and satisfied with Huntington Bank. But just to let the board know that it's something that we are constantly looking at. But I did want to report to the board that that's where the service charges for 2025. As far as investment is concerned, the interest earned, you can see it broken down by a month-to-month basis, but a total amount, and this is with Trust Indiana, that's who we invest with, so any opportunities that we have in which we have cash reserves that we're able to invest, we want to be good stewards and be prudent in what we do as far as getting the investments where that interest earned, and it's a total for 2025. That amount equated to $944,258.29. Entertain any questions that the board may have. Then as we move on, the investment policy, just to review, just to let the board know that there has not been any changes. So the last change, or it was adopted in June 11th of 2024, but it is always good practice, especially at this time of the year, with the Board of Finance convening just to kind of review or freshen you up as far as that investment policy is concerned. For the community, obviously there are certain stipulations for Indiana code that we have to follow as far as investments are concerned. It is very, very secured, so those investments, it is not that we are going out and taking risk as far as those investments are concerned. We do have to meet, obviously, Indiana code as far as those investments, and so in the investment policy, that is what is outlined. And so, but if there's any questions that any of the board members may have on that investment policy, I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Then the last item that is required, like President Ogle had mentioned, and that is the report or those fiscal indicators. And so as part of your packet, and obviously it's up on the screen as well, each year under Indiana law, like President Ogle had said, that the districts are required to provide the school board with a review of the distress units appeal board's fiscal indicators, or DUAB for short. Again, a brief history to this. DUAB was established to basically allow some of those indicators to be known. So again, it's a plan, and it's not a last minute, what are we going to do? Through those indicators, there was established by DUAB as to kind of give a fair warning, if you will, for school districts and boards as they look at those particular indicators. finances of the school district. The only downfall about the fiscal indicators is that we're working in the rear. So what is required for us, and part of this presentation, is not from 2025, it's from 2024. But this is what we are required. Now, that being said, we don't wait until a year later to review these things. Obviously, we're constantly reviewing the financial status of the district on a weekly, monthly basis. But again, required by the state, it's required for us to give these indicators for a transparency for the community. So that being said, if we go through the presentation, the first indicator that they have on here for the basic information is the ADM count. This again is just for 24-25, but again we're looking at calendar year 24 as the board, as the report. And then the net assessed value. It's important to continue to take a look at net assessed value. Obviously, for our property tax-driven revenue sources, we need to make sure that we keep a close eye on that net assessed value as we go forward. So we don't want to see any of those decreases in that NAV. Obviously, decreases in NAV would then result in potential of a reduction in some of those revenue sources for our property-driven funds. So the next slide, if you will, the next indicator, again, is the ADM and demographics. We just did that study. It's important for us to do a study like Dr. McKibben. That's just doing our due diligence. Obviously, with the growth of our district, it's vital for us to have that. But I mean, it is important for us to have those studies done so that we can project out as we look at future budgeting needs and making sure that we're staying within those constraints of what we are potentially going to be getting based upon that ADM. And so as you do see in the report, obviously there is a steady increase in our ADM, which is a good thing. This is not common throughout the state of Indiana. In fact, it's working in reverse right now. Many districts are on decline in enrollment or in their ADM, which again then starts to decrease the revenue sources that they have in the district. We are in reverse. The other thing I really want to bring to the board's attention, this is a good thing as well, is if you take a look at the fall versus the spring ADM, in many cases you will see a decrease from that fall count to the spring count, and when there is a reduction, that means there's a reduction in revenue. We in Westfield, Washington, if you look, it's either we are right at or slightly above that fall count. Again, those are good things because those generate additional revenues that second half of the year. Instead of a decline in that revenue source is actually steady or a slight increase. So again, it's a great factor to take a look at as one of those indicators. Next slide that we look at, or the next indicator, is fund balances. And so you will see some of those fund balances that actually dip below the line. I wanted to just make sure that the board is aware that in those cases are federal funds. And so depending upon when we would be getting those reimbursements as we recoup or we submit for reimbursements on those federal funds, it may fall below that line. Doesn't mean that we are negative balance as far as that fund. We just are waiting at that time or that snapshot in time that there would be the potential of that dipping below that line and showing a negative balance, but in reality there's not that negative balance. But I do take a close look at some of those balances too, though, and I know that the board had, and I'll get to one of the other indicators here in just a moment. I know that the board did adopt a reserve policy. It was actually after this particular time, or after 24, in which that was established. So that will allow us to really move towards the reserve. Again, as a reminder, that reserve at this point is between 8 and 12%, in that reserve. That's what we want to shoot for in the operating balances. But I do want to bring to the board's attention, again, pointing some of those things out in the fund balances for, again, 2024. As you move on to the next indicator, this is the annual deficit and surplus. Again, one of the things that I look at is that Please keep in mind that these are for all of our funds. Those aren't any particular funds, and so as its entirety, as we look at this, you as a board or the community does have every opportunity to go and do a search for the DUAP report, and then you can actually drill down to some of the specifics. But this particular report is in all the funds in its entirety, so you will see that the revenue is exceeding the expenditures and the exceptions. There is a little bit of deficit surplus there that we do have there in 2024, but again, this is one of those areas where we want to keep a very close eye on, obviously, of those expenditures. And there has been cases that this has happened. If you look in 2020, that those expenditures then exceeding the revenues. Those are the things that we want to pay really close attention to, and as far as our balances are concerned. Next indicator that we have is the fund balance as a percentage of expenditures. And so this is one of those items that, again, we need to pay close attention to. I go back to that reserve policy. When you look in 21 compared to 24, you'll see some of those reserves going down. Again, we want to be in that reserve between the 8 and 12 right now as a prudent range. But there are some things that play into this as well that we need to pay close attention to. One of those being, and we talked about, is our operating referendum. And when we were capped out, we did not receive all of what should have been received. That comes into play as far as those reserves are concerned. So that's one of those elements that we need to take a close look at and make sure that we're monitoring that. Going forward, just in 26, we are getting that 17 cents that was passed in that referendum back. And that really equates to about it's about $2.8 million that we will have in addition to the revenues that we received the previous year. So, but again, going back to those fund balances as a percent of expenditures, we need, again, to make sure that we're paying close attention to have that prudent range. Again, that is for any type of shortfall that we may have. Revenue by type, I just bring this to the board's attention, the community's attention, just to show what types of different revenue sources that we have within the district. The one it's really kind of hard to see is that federal stimulus revenue. It's that really light purple, but you can barely see that as that top line. But again, as we look at how our revenues are made up, what sources we use, again, I use this category is to kind of gauge as to where we are pulling from some of those different expenditures. Again, it's a forecasting for future budgets. So again, that's why I utilize this particular slide as an indicator, again, how our total spending or expenditures versus revenues are made up. It's good to have that basis of understanding, again, how we're drawing in those revenues. And the last indicator is the operating referendum revenue. It's important to understand that operating revenue. It's important for our district. Obviously, that supplements what we do in our operations and our education fund. But it's a good understanding as to what percentage of that operating referendum makes up our complete budget. Because again, if that referendum, those dollars were to go away, the impact, we need to understand what that impact would be. So it's really important for us to take a look at this particular graph and gauge out how important those dollars or those referendum dollars. We have seen that over, again, going back the last couple of years in that capping of those referendum dollars, because again, when we scope out or speculate out, forecast out what our budgets are going to be, we don't try not to work as a budget from year to year. We look at 3 to 5 year projection. We obviously have to keep this in consideration if there's any type of changes within that referendum. Again, what percentage that makes up of the entire budget, if you will, that were based upon that operating referendums. Again, going back to the importance of this study, again, we're not in this position. There have been other districts that have been in positions, and reasons for this to be brought up. But besides our revenues, our projected net of revenues, but also just
A little bit ago showed 3%. Where are we actually today? Because you said you wanted to be between 8 and 12.
we want to be between 8 and 12. So
And putting that into policy has been relatively, it's been within the last 12 to 18 months?
yes.
So even this data would not have necessarily been impacted, planning that resulted in these results would not have been impacted by this.
In this particular slide,
But-
obviously, if you start to see the decline in that operating reserves, yes, I think it was that point that Mr. Tom and Michael came forward and the board did approve those reserve policies.
Right, yeah. All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Hunt. With no other business before this Board of Finance, I will call for a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Amber. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mike. All in favor, say aye. Aye.